two. Hello, this is Dave, and welcome to Equity Story. And this is obviously just general share advice and not personal advice. And welcome back, Baldy. I forgot you had you shaved all your hair on.
I did, and it's a little bit of growth back, so I need another haircut. That's the problem going bald, Dave. You have to shave your head every week.
Tell me what made you make that brave decision to take the whole?
Unfortunately, the higher power, Natalie.
Really, you look like, just take your glasses. You look a bit like Yul Brynner, don't you now? Yul Brynner, the actor.
Right. Yeah, I know, from the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, you are. You're definitely Yul Brynner. Maybe we just get.
As long as I'm as handsome as him, I'm happy.
Well, he was
a good-looking dude.
He was a big hit, with the girls, right?
Was he?
I'll just bring maybe. Look, that's very much like Yul Brynner. It's just coming out now.
I think he was one of the first to popularize being bald.
Yeah, could you just put your head to the side like that so we can see more?
Look at that.
Oh my! No, it's not. You don't look. No, you don't look anything like Yul Brynner. Sorry, mate. Sorry. You
All
don't.
Right, come on. Let's talk talks because that's what we're here for.
Okay. Wolf. MP1.
Yep.
So,
what's happened is the question, right? Because yesterday we talked about it.
Yesterday you're really positive about it.
Yeah, well, we still are positive about it, right? Because the actual quarterly was decent, right? We talked about it. We had a look at it. They're improving their cash flows, even though there's still outflows in there. They've become a bit positive, but there's still outflows out there. But they are shrinking from 21 million down to 50.
I think we sort of know, don't we? What's most probably happened.
And the thing was trading okay, when we're talking about it, it was actually up at the time. We thought, okay, well, the market's reacted quite okay to it, which is nice.
So what we're thinking, right, is that possibly they decided they're going to do a capital raise, which maybe makes sense for them. They're always raising, and that raise may be leaked. We'll see later.
Yeah, because they are in a trading hold. Really annoying if that's the case. And someone's spilled the beans about it, and then the short has heard about it, and they've shorted the hell out of it. Let's just wait for the announcement. We're just speculating here, but if it is, I'll be very, very annoyed that the management couldn't keep their mouth shut. But anyway, we'll see what happens, Dave.
So what happens then? Will they just have to raise at a lower price?
Yeah, well, and that's the annoying thing, right? So if that scenario is true, and like I said, I'm just speculating at this stage. Then maybe it had a planned capital raise, maybe in the next, week or two. It doesn't have to be the next day, but someone must have been sell some bins. So that's what I'm predicting. And maybe they thought, okay, 750 around there. Our price is 850. That sounds reasonable, right? 10% discount, good. But now with this, someone got hold of it. Someone smelt some blood. Shortest came in, smashed it down 61. I mean, what does management do now? I think damage limitation, maybe. I mean, I wonder what that announcement is about. If that's what it is, then annoyed as hell. But I'm not gonna say anything until I see that announcement.
And you just don't know, because they did that big global. They had a global investor presentation, and often, Wolf, you get those investor presentations with a raise, don't you? The reason they do those, they're looking to raise money and talk about their story.
Yeah, in a way, there's always a chance of a capital raising. I know they talked about, about them trying to cut costs and get to that cash flow positivity, but there was going to be another 12, 24 months away, right? So we're expecting a capital raising probably along the line somewhere. Maybe that was one of the pillars that we're going to set down with this announcement. But now probably they have to speed it up because of what just happened yesterday. So let's just, like I said, let's just wait till the announcement and see what happens. But I'll be really annoyed if that scenario that I've just talked about actually comes through.
Wolfie, Cogstate had that massive move up recently. We did call it a sell on that move just because it was a little bit for a FOMO reason. So hopefully people, if we're trading it, but the long-term thesis for those people that believe in the long-term story, I suppose it's still very much alive and kicking, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the story's still good. You got, with stories like this, you've got to have the long-term view. Plus, you can maybe trade here and there a couple of times. So yeah, the long-term thesis is intact. Is it the best story in the world? No, it isn't. So for those that like the story, and there's probably a few people that probably like the story. I'm included in that, but is it strong enough in this market for me right now? Probably not. But it's still decent, and it's still coming up with some interesting stuff.
Wolf, CGF Challenger. Hasn't quite got back over trend yet. Had a really good move when that announcement first came out. A little bit of maybe profit taking, I'm not too sure. So what's your take on Challenger?
Dave, today they've come up with an update, and the biggest winners on the updates are usually the ones that are coming up and saying, reiterate our guidance. And this is exactly what happened today. So it's up. So that's a win. That's a win for CGF. It looks all right. Again, is it a great story right now? It's all right. So maybe not for everyone.
Wolf Santos, Woodside, strong updates, as one would expect with record oil and gas prices. And I think the long-term hold on these stocks is very much there. It's still there. And
for the moment, absolutely. I mean, you like we've said, the oil and gas sector is still good. While there's a little bit of a wobble with short term with the oil and gas at the moment, with Biden releasing the reserves, with OPEC pumping more oil and gas out, right? So that's just put a little bit of a negative spin on oil gas prices just for the minute. But I think longer term with the war going on, I think it's still probably a strong theme.
But wouldn't you put though oil and gas a little bit into that? I was interested. Andrew was talking about coal being the new tobacco, because coal, we need it, though everyone likes it. No one's really sort of looking to produce more coal mines. So they've having this sort of, we still need it. Everybody wants it, and because we've had little investment into that sector, it's the prices have just been going up and up. Isn't that true a little bit with Santos and Woodside, that we haven't had, people are trying to move away from oil. We haven't had much exploration recently. Would you put those as well into possibly the new tobacco stories?
Yeah, it is, because it's got that fossil fuel attached to it, like your coal, right? So definitely it's got the same thematic to it, and you've got that same almost reasons why it's actually going up, right? You've got problems in Europe with the gas being shut off by Russia and so on. So yeah, definitely similarities in that. So that's why it's still, these things are still trending, especially Woodside, which came out today with an upgrade to their production and paying a good dividend as well. So you've got a nice chart to boot.
So definitely, I think that long-term hold is theory or idea still in place. TLX. So nice looking chart, Wolf. Not far off a buy signal if ends the week like this. So we've got another day. So I'll be liking this Friday come 4 o'clock if it looks like this. Are you liking it from a fundamental view?
Yeah, we talked about it just before I left about 6-7 weeks ago about TLX, and one of the biotechs that's actually now become a moneymaker, right? So they've got revenues coming through, and they had 50 million odd. So the question on this Illuccix thing, what is the potential of this Illuccix? How many millions can they get out of revenues out of this? Plus they've got other products as well on the go. So, there's going to be volatile. It's going to be, there's going to be missteps, no doubt, because always things with of this nature with the drugs, there's always going to be risks involved, but it's one of those way advanced players. So if I'm going to be playing any punts in this space, I think this is one of the better ones to do it.
All right. Just a trading stock. Z1P. Obviously the chart still looks, dare I say, like a dog. But come on.
That was supposed to be a dog, was it? Oh.
Well, that was like a hound. Like I can do other types of dogs. Do you want something a little bit more?
Well, no. Well, let's leave the dogs alone. But that was a really poor dog, that one.
Well, it's a tired dog. Right.
All right. So yeah, look, interesting, isn't it? It's up 11% with no growth, really.
No.
When you look at the quarter and quarter, there was no growth. When you look at the previous, year on year, yes, there was. But I'm interested to see what's happening from quarter to quarter with this. And there was just nothing there. Yeah, look, I'm because it's now at 60 something cents, now it's obviously 71 after today. Maybe all this doom and gloom has been priced in, right? So anything that's okay-ish, then the market sort of goes, yeah, it's not going to go bust, so to speak. So maybe
that's an important question. Is it not going to go bust? Because you were saying that maybe it could go bust.
There's always a possibility with things that go bust. So this is the problem I've got, and I know that the management decided that really the focus is now cash preservation, right? So they probably thought that we could go bust. Let's focus on cutting down the costs, getting out of the markets that really are not performing, and all those sort of things, right? So understandably, maybe now with the market sort of looking at it a little bit differently, maybe they're thinking, well, the chances of going bust maybe are diminishing by the quarterly with them really going hard at it. But to me, there's always a risk still. This sort of things in this current environment where you've got a slowdown in economies, interest going up. I think this is not a play to be playing. This is for the brave souls out there, Dave.
All right.
The crazies.
Well, can I suggest technically, you'd rather shoot yourself in the head than buy this stock.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that statement.
Okay, this is another one technically you would be interested in, but come on, Wolfie. I don't, put your fundamental hat on. This is a great growth story, which even at 6 cents, the world was its oyster. I know it's a whole different world now. They've come out with an announcement, record quarterly revenue. It's hardly moved at all. I mean, what's happening here?
Look, you're absolutely right about this, right? So you've got a company that's come up with a very good quarterly. When you look at it, they're talking about EBITDA as well, was 1 million, which was ahead of the company's expectations. And I think represented, they're talking about 8% EBITDA margin, which is, I think, pretty okay. However, the problem is they did flag previously that there might be a little bit of just a bit of turbulence ahead, right? We've got that August thing. That's why it went from about 4.3 down to 2%. So people decided to go, well, if there's going to be turbulence ahead, we don't want to be part of it. That's why it's gone to 2.7. Today's announcement is pretty good, but there's just no conviction. Unfortunately, there's just no buying in a normal market, normal circumstances where the tech stocks are treated normally. This is probably going to be trading much higher than it is, Dave. But it looks super cheap on the fundamentals. But if there's no interest whatsoever, you're swimming against the tide. You're flogging a dead horse, unfortunately.
So it's trading on a market cap of 29 million at the moment.
And revenues are over 50.
The revenues are over 50, seems. And they are not quite profitable, no?
I think they are cash flow positive and they've got EBITDA positive. And I think that, the profitability is marginal at this stage. But, we talked with the management. They said they are, step by step, they want to improve the margins. And that's the whole idea about this. Because if they can improve the margins without actually doing too much work at the top end, they could improve the bottom line significantly. So, it's unfortunate that the current market is just not conducive to looking at these smaller type stocks.
Have they got a lot of cash, Wolf?
That's a good question. Let me just have a look. What should they've got? So the quarterly was sort of mixed, in a way. I mean, overall decent, but mixed in a way. So let me just have a look at the actual cash position for them. And I think this should be all right. So let me have a look. Yeah, I can't see anything on here. They didn't come. I didn't see the actual appendix 3B. But if you look at it,
because I mean, when do they start buying their stock back? When would they start looking at that? I'm
not sure they will. Did they say they're going to buy the stock back?
No, they haven't. But surely that must be a possibility. These sort of.
No, look. I think they need to invest for future growth. Look, anything could happen, of course, with these smaller players. You just don't know. But I think the idea for me when we spoke to the management was margin improvements, reinvesting back into the business, and going down to the cash flow positive side with profitability on the mind. But at the moment, there's they did flag there's going to be some turbulence ahead. That's why it's just one of those stories that unfortunately no one's interested in.
Okay. Right, Wolf, we've gone through today's news. You wanted to go through 10 stocks.
Yep.
Now, before Wolf went on his long sabbatical and he went to find himself and discover who he was.
Top of the mountain.
And at the end of the day, he did come back and he realized he wasn't a chartist, but he was a fundamental analyst. But it took him that soul searching to find out who he really was. But before he went, he gave us 10 stocks, didn't you, Wolfie, that you reported well this year.
Yep.
That you think should do well, right? Even
so they had a good report and they had a decent outlook, right? So that was the criteria for it. In August, right, just before I left, I went through pretty much all the companies that I know and trying to identify the top 10 that I thought can do well in FY23 because of what they delivered and because what they've said they're going to deliver in FY23, right? So that's the premise of it. So let's go through the 10 and see where they are. Like a little update, mini update to see whether we've got some winners and if there's any losers out there.
All right, go on.
Now, whether I'm still happy with those stories. I mean, that's probably the bottom line.
Okay, let's fire away. Go on.
Okay, so the first one was MADS, Meta Group. So let's have a look and we'll probably obviously tell where it was in August, price-wise. So around 3, I think, and it's still around 3. So that's held up decently well.
Yeah, and a beautiful looking chart. So, yeah.
I'm happy with that. That's still a hold. Next one delivered was PWH. Also delivered very well. Great outlook. So let's have a look what they are at. And another one, I think in August was around 950, I think, when we put it on. It's 910, so it's not bad as well. And remember, when I was away, Dave, the markets were horrid.
I know.
I know. Anything close to the price that we said, I'm happy with that.
Well, you were lying on that beach in Poland, and you do have and sipping your pina colada or sipping your water. Yeah, it was all happening, Wolf.
Yeah, so the first two are good. All right, let's go to the third one, JLG. So we just talked about it, I think, on Monday, saying that they've got more work with the Victorian government, which is good. I know that they came back a little bit because of the sell down by the MD, right? You can't let them not sell down ever, so they have to sell down sometime. I'm okay with that. Still very happy with it, to be honest. They should come up with a positive update further down the track. Still happy to hold, no problems, and maybe a nibble, like we said, a couple of days ago, below 6 and below, or around these levels, whatever, for the long term. So, yep, good. ALU is the next one. So 3 out of 3 I'm happy with. Yeah, holding on quite well. August was pretty good for them. I think it was around the 36, 37 mark, I think, when we talked about it. So, yeah, holding on there, it's still within 10% of that after that really shellacking. So that's decent. Nothing's changed for me thematically. Next one was PPE. So people infrastructure, and I think that was around the 340 down to the 296, about 12%, I think, down. Look, nothing's changed for me there. There's probably just with the market has gone down. So yeah, I'm still going to give it, it's only been like 1.5 months, so I'm not panicking with that one. Fundamentally, remember, this is all fundamentals. XRF is the next one. I think that's the winner so far. Winner, chicken dinner. And I've grew a pretty good updates yesterday or Monday, sorry, or Tuesday, I think it was. Apologies. And yeah, got to be happy with that.
Yeah, no definitely. Doubt. Looks good, doesn't it?
But that's the first winner we've got. But that's 6 so far, and I think 6 holds. Let's go to the next one, AUB. And again, August, I think it was around 21, I think 21 and a half, I think we put it on right at the end. And again, it's holding in there. It's yeah, I'm happy with that. There's no change for me.
Right. Okay.
PLS, next one.
They've done well, haven't they?
Yeah, so I think another winner. So there's 2 winners we got out of that list, which is pretty good. 516, 517. I think we put it on in August, would have been. Let me just have a look. Yeah, around 350. Wow. So that we've done extremely well with this one, haven't we?
Yeah,
that's a big winner. That's the biggest winner so far.
I think that was my pick, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was, Dave. The biggest ones are always yours.
Thank you.
Okay, next one. So it's still a hold. I mean, we know that that lithium thematic is still pretty strong. SWM.
Yeah, this was another of your picks.
August was around the 50, I think, mark. Maybe around the high 40s, I think. Still, within that range, happy to hold. Nothing's changed. Yeah, holding that line. And last one was GMG. And funny enough, probably the best story in that whole, well, yeah, arguably the one of the better stories in that. It's probably suffered the most, I think, from August. It was around the 19 something down to 16. So that's almost 20% down. That's the biggest loser, but it's probably, one of the stronger stories out there. So I'm still very happy to hold if I'm in there. So overall, Dave, I'm very happy with that list still, to be honest.
All right. And they're trading on a P of 9 now. So you do feel that's very, very strongly overdone. And yeah, it's the market is booming. The Australian market is still booming. Shopping centers are busy. COVID.
You know what? The management has been extremely good, right? So any weakness in this company, and they haven't put a foot wrong, I think for me would be a nibble opportunity. I mean, the question is when, is there more falls to come? Possibly, right? Because we're talking about that maybe we're still going to have a bit more downside. So that could come back with the markets. But, it's just definitely looking attractive from the company point of view where it's just been delivering.
Right.
That's
I mean,
if you close your eyes, Dave, and you go for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at on the charts here, Wolf, there was a lot of sort of noise around that 15, and maybe that 15 is where you're going to see a little bit of support, which would be about a P of 8, wouldn't it? That'd be I wonder, can you see on your Reuters what the average
yeah, I just have to correct you slightly. That PE is not quite the true.
Oh yeah,
because it's a one-off. They used one-off in there, right? So I think it's around, on this metrics, around 16, right? Which is still decent, right? For a company that's growing over 10%, and I think last year was about 14. I'm still very happy with 16 times for a really quality company.
Can you see on your Reuters what their average PE is?
Yeah, I can. Let me just have a quick look for you. Hang on. So GMG, but I think the top 10 I'd still be holding for the next, for the 12 months, like we said, the initial investment. So nothing changing for me, any of them. And the average P is, let me see, hang on. I think they should trade on about 17. So I think they're now about 16, right? So it's below what the average used to be. So I'm happy to accumulate.
What's the lowest they've been, Wolfie?
Oh, I'd have to look at it. They don't give me that. I'd have to dig into that unfortunately, Dave. So I don't want to keep people on.
So they're trading at sort of maybe long-term fair value, right?
Yeah, just below fair value, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's one of those things that I think that the risk is in your favor here. As long as they obviously keep delivering the goods, pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Doing well.
All right. On Wolfie's joke, we missed those jokes, those Polish jokes, while you've been gone. On that note, Wolfie, thank you very much. Those stocks have done reasonably very well, actually, in a very, very difficult climate. So some good ideas you gave everybody there, and definitely hold. And good to see little PPL bouncing on that announcement. A little bit of interest coming back into the story. So that's good to see. on that note, Wolfie, thank you very much, and live tomorrow.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Bye. See you, mate. Bye.